Let's take a look at what's grabbing the headlines here in France. Florence Villeminot is here to talk us through the front pages this morning, Flo. Lots of focus on this French Parliament bill, where the MPs, of course, debating those controversial measures to strip people of their nationality, all of this in the wake of the terror attacks.
That's right. Now, after several hours of very tense debates, yesterday MPs voted in favor of Article 2, and this is an article that, as you said, is going to essentially allow authorities to strip citizens of their nationality and their rights if they're convicted of terrorism. It was a very close vote. You can read more about it here in Le Figaro. 162 votes in favor, 148 against. So essentially, the government's measure passed by 14 votes, a very slim majority. And according to Le Figaro, which, keep in mind, is the right-wing paper, this thin majority is a humiliation for the government. Now, do keep in mind, though, what's interesting is there was an amendment to Article 2 right before it was passed, because initially it was supposed to be about dual citizens, but the government decided to change that at the last minute and have the measure concern all French citizens.
Gosh, controversial stuff. Well, the day before, Parliament was voting in favour of Article 1. Now, that's going to enshrine in the Constitution this process of declaring a national state of emergency, but hardly anyone showed up.
That's right. It was quite shocking to a lot of people. Only 136 MPs showed up for the vote. 441 were absent. Now, this led to a lot of outrage that you can read about here in Le Parisien. People were saying, you know, we've been talking about these constitutional amendments since the attacks. It's been very controversial. There have been lots of debates. Where were the MPs when it was actually voted? Why are our taxpayers paying for them and their salaries if they're not even showing up to work? Well, according to Le Parisien, this kind of knee-jerk reaction is a little bit excessive, because MPs started actually debating this very controversial constitutional changes on Friday, and the bulk of the work was done then. So when the actual vote took place, well, not that many really felt like they had to show up. To quote one veteran MP in this article, "Do you really think a serious debate can take place when 500 people are there? I don't think so." And another MP that was quoted in this article says that actually the presence of an MP on a vote depends on what's at stake politically. And he points out that Article 1, so the state of emergency, there wasn't that much at stake politically. So that's why so few of them showed up. Whereas Article 2, the one about stripping citizens of their citizenship, that was a lot more controversial politically. And so that's why so many more MPs showed up.
Okay, well, let's focus on those constitutional amendments regarding the state of emergency and the citizenship stripping measures. Now, they're seen as quite right-wing measures traditionally. And of course, a lot of tensions within the left-leaning Socialist Party.
That's right. Very serious tensions, if you believe Les Echos, the business paper. It talks about an irreversible fault lines within the left-wing party. Now, divisions within the left are not new. They've been around for a while, but they've traditionally been about things like the economy. And according to Les Echos, divisions over these constitutional amendments, well, they're much deeper wounds that will be much harder to heal, because they're about much more fundamental things other than the economy.
This certainly may even impact on the leader of the Socialist Party. In fact, they've been called to hold a primary, haven't they, to determine the candidate for the 2017 election.
That's right. And the left-leaning paper Libération actually carried out a poll amongst left-wing supporters. 81% are in favor of this primary to decide which candidate among all the left-wing parties will run for president in 2017. Will Hollande be able to avoid this primary? That's what Libération wants to know. The idea, of course, is to pick a candidate that will not be eliminated in round one. In other words, it's not 100% given that Hollande is the right choice, according to these 81% of people. And what's interesting is Le Monde has also carried out a poll. Now, it's looking way ahead to 2017. But if the presidential election were held today, it's not sure that Hollande would actually make it to round two.
Gosh, well, let's leave politics to the side for one moment. Move on to astrophysics, much more exciting for many. For decades, scientists have been searching for gravitational waves, whatever they are. They may have found them. This is big news.
That's right. It's very exciting for the science world. You can read all about it in Le Monde. Now, gravitational waves are generated by the most cataclysmic events in the cosmos. For instance, when two black holes meet each other. I'm not an expert. I'm trying to break it down for you. Now, they were first predicted by Einstein in 1915 in his theory of general relativity, and people have been looking for them ever since. And on Thursday, several teams of U.S. Scientists are expected to announce whether or not they found them, and perhaps they have. Rumors say they have, at least, If confirmed, their discovery is incredible. They'll probably get a Nobel Prize for it, and also will open the door to a whole new form of astrophysics. So it's very important news, and stay tuned for Thursday.
Oh, goodness. Very exciting stuff for scientists. Thank you very much, Florence Villeminot, with the French Press Review. More from Flo, of course, later on this morning when we go through the international paper.